Yeah, so my question was, how can you experience something if you don't know it directly? Because Swamiji says that you can't know the self or Atma directly. So how can you know something if you don't know it directly?
So this question is wonderful because it brings up the topic of our true self cannot be objectified. So the true self, consciousness, awareness cannot be objectified. Why? Because it is our true nature. It is like you want to see the face without a mirror. The face is not able to see itself without a mirror. And the same with taking a video. There may be a video, and after, by watching the video, you may see everything according to the video, story and the people and the probably nature or whatever, but the camera will not be included in the video. So how we know that the camera was there? Simply by remembering that somebody took this video, an instrument, a camera. There is no other way to see the camera, the video camera, inside the video itself, isn't it?
For sure, yeah.
So awareness itself is the seer, is the subject, cannot be the object of observation. We will see more on this topic if one day we will take the scripture Drik Drisya Viveka, where you can see there how everything that is an observation, everything that is an observed object cannot be what we truly are. So the body, let's say the physical appearance, is an object of observation. The same with the car, the same with a mobile. But nobody can say that I am this mobile, or I am this car, or I am this body. Nevertheless, most of the times when there is pain in a particular part of the body, of the physical appearance, somebody will say, I have pain. So superimposing on the physical appearance, on this object of the body, the self. But the self cannot have pain. The self cannot have a body. Because of the presence of the self, because of the presence of awareness, consciousness, everything appears and disappears in itself, observed by the same awareness, consciousness. So the ocean, for example, to take another example, is observing, let's say, a wave and in itself. But the same ocean or the water cannot observe itself as water. It's almost similar. Awareness consciousness may observe all the apparent phenomena in itself as modulations in itself, being observed by the same awareness consciousness, but cannot see itself. Because it cannot be an object, it cannot be objectified. I don't know if till now is clear, or there is more elaboration. There is a need of more to elaborate.
It's clear at the moment, but I'd be happy if you said a little bit more.
All right. So when we have, let's say, the function of the dream state, The same self, the same consciousness, illumining, accommodating, or revealing the dream. And inside the dream, we have a particular, let's say, protagonist in the dream. Let's say we have Andrew interacting with his friend, Johnny. And Johnny becomes angry with Andrew, and he speaks with tough words to Andrew. And this moment, consciousness identifies itself with Andrew, the protagonist in the dream, and becomes also maybe angry or sad with Johnny because of the tough words of Johnny to Andrew. Then there is the so-called waking up. And then Andrew recognized that nothing happened really, it was just a dream. And recognize that the dream Andrew, it was it's something different than the so-called waking Andrew. But both the cases were identified, or better to say, were registered and revealed and illumined by consciousness awareness, not Andrew. Andrew was only an actor, a protagonist in both cases. Then we have also the deep sleep without dreams. In that state, there is no even a dream Andrew, a dream character called Andrew. But still, there is awareness and there is registration of the blankness. Upon waking up, if there was so beautiful deep sleep without dreams, Andrew may recall, oh, it was beautiful. I slept like a log of wood. No thoughts, nothing was moving. It was blankness. And I enjoyed this deep sleep. So awareness itself can accommodate, can reveal, can illumine both these three states, the so-called waking state, the so-called dream state, and the so-called deep sleep without dreams state. And still, it is something different, completely different than all these states. So it is the substratum which cannot become itself an object of observation. Something else is also that the substratum does not have a form. It does not have a taste. Awareness, consciousness does not have any of the attributes of the senses. There is no smell of consciousness, of your true nature. There is no a surface where you can feel a kind of sensation of touch. It doesn't have a sound. It doesn't have a form or a shape. So how something, of course, in inverted commas, there's something which is, and also which in inverted commas, something which is so vast and so attributeless, let's say, can be an object of observation. It is beyond any concepts. It is beyond any attributes. It is attributeless. It is akarta. It cannot be someone who is acting or something which is acting. It is abhokta. It does not have any experience. Although it can accommodate all kinds of experiences for the reflected consciousness called Chidabhasa. So what to say for the true self, the true nature, the true absolute, the absolute truth, or the absolute nature, when there is no any attributes, how you can see it, how you can deal with it. So the Upanishads, Vedanta, is revealing to us that Brahman, or infinite, absolute, impersonal consciousness awareness, cannot be objectified by any means. Because you are that. You cannot expect the eyes to see themselves, for example. The eyes cannot see themselves, except if they look through a mirror, or eyes can be seen through the mirror. And then again, whatever you see through the mirrors of any kind, also it cannot be your true nature, your true self. There are these mirrors in the circus where you can see either the face and the body elongate or more fat, and you may feel sad that suddenly you became so ugly. But of course, you cannot be sad and angry, because what you see is only a bad reflection, not what is the real face or the real appearance. So the same with awareness consciousness. It can never be seen as it is, because it is what you really are. And whatever we see as expressions or as reflections of consciousness are only reflections in the bodies, what we study in Advaita Vedanta as bodies. Stula Sarira, Sukshma Sarira, Karana Sariram. And all these bodies are functioning. They can reflect infinite absolute consciousness, impersonal consciousness, awareness, but of course they are only reflections. Another example that I may use is the sun, as it can be reflected in 6 different, let's say, mirrors. So let's say you put 6 mirrors on the surface of a table, let's say, and then you can see 6 suns as a reflection. Now, the 6 suns are only reflection. They are not the real sun. So if some of these mirrors are dirty, let's say, the sun may look not so nice. But that doesn't mean that the prototype or the original sun became dirty. It is the same with Jivatma, or what we say as a human being, or as an embodied consciousness, reflected consciousness. It cannot be never a perfect reflection, especially the physical appearance, because it is very gross, of course, from the standpoint of the apparent individual entities. Then the pranic body, or which is a part of the Sukshma Sarira, the subtle body, also cannot reflect 100% consciousness. And then also Karana Sariram also cannot reflect 100%. So all these bodies are anatma, are only reflections. And reflections cannot be our true self or true nature. It is like the sun, another example. The sun cannot be involved in what appears in its presence. Because of the presence of the sun, we see activities in earth. But the sun cannot be involved. The sun is not by any means involved in these actions in the planet. The same with awareness, consciousness. It is the light which reveals everything that appears in itself and being recognized by itself, but at the same moment is never touched by all these appearances, by all these modulations. The water in the ocean may appear as waves, but the water itself don't modify by any means. It remains always unchanging. The same with consciousness awareness. It cannot be observed. It is always unchanging. It is that which can only reveal all the appearances in itself as modulations of itself. And of course, through consciousness awareness, through the medium of the tools that Sukshma Sarira is using, the tools of knowledge, consciousness itself is being used by the tools of the human in order to observe whatever appears as an apparent external phenomenon. But consciousness itself is always impossible to be objectified. I don't know if till now everything is clear or there is need of more elaboration.
It's difficult.
Of course it is difficult, because we speak for something which is beyond any concept, beyond any concepts.
So are you saying it's not an experience either? So, for example, when you're sometimes you can feel, as an experience, you can experience an expanded sense of self. Maybe when your mind's particularly pure, particularly peaceful, particularly blessed. Sometimes it can be, vast, more vast. But that's not it. That's just something being revealed in it. Like that's the feeling of presence or grace or God, or it's just something being revealed in consciousness. It's not consciousness itself.
Of course, all experiences are on the level of the mind. Whatever you may experience as a blissful phenomenon or as something like a divinity revelation always is on the level of the dream, of the level of the mind. Mind modulations, we can call, or mind modes. So you may see, let's say, Krishna or Jesus Christ or Shiva or whatever, but this will always be on the level of the mind. Consciousness awareness is not anthropomorphic and also cannot be anthropomorphic. It may appear in yourself as anthropomorphic, as Jesus Christ or let's say Shiva or Rama or Krishna or Devi, but it is because your faith, it is because you prefer to appear like that. But your real consciousness, your real self, even if it will appear with a form, it is always formless, shapeless. Yet, for those who are not ready to grasp the shapeless form of consciousness awareness, which in the scriptures it is called Nirguna Brahman, the Brahman without any kind of attributes, then the scriptures say and allow, of course, in inverted commas, allow For those who are not ready or enough prepared for Nirguna Brahman, shapeless, formless awareness consciousness, to worship any Saguna Brahman that they feel comfortable with, until they will become enough prepared to worship the formless, their true self as infinite, unbounded consciousness awareness. All phenomena are mind or Maya. Are not our true nature. All phenomena are mithya, impermanent. What is revealing them and what is accommodating them or illumining them in itself is consciousness awareness, and the only satyam, the only reality, the only truth. All the rest is just a big lie, just a big joke. Somebody used to call it the cosmic joke. So everything is just a cosmic joke except consciousness awareness itself.
Yeah. So at this moment in time, I'm aware right now. That sense of awareness is also mithya.
No, when awareness is aware of itself as awareness, it is not mithya. When you say, I am Andrew and I am aware that I'm speaking, then it is impermanent, it is mithya. It is depending on what you mean, from which standpoint you speak when you say, I am aware. If you say, I am awareness, unlocalized awareness, infinite, impersonal, and I am aware that I am aware, that is not mithya. But again, this is on the level of the Vyavaharika teachings, on the level of the dream reality. If there is no reflected consciousness, a human being, let's say, then awareness, don't say, I am aware that I am awareness. Because there is no way to express that. If there is only awareness and there is no somebody to speak about it, then how awareness can say, I am aware? So awareness, being aware of itself, is a wonderful gate to recognize the truth while living, while having this experience of a human, let's say, or of a living individual entity. But awareness without the expression of a human or any individual entity which can reflect consciousness, don't say I am awareness, don't say I am Brahman. There has to be a tool, the tool of the physical appearance, who can speak, who can have lips, and who can have mind to express that. It's just like the sun. The sun don't say, I am the sun. The light itself don't say, I am light. But whatever appears and disappears because of the presence of light can reflect consciousness and say, one day, and also believe that and know that and have recognition and conviction, this is the case of a jnani, I am awareness. And there is nothing else except that. And besides awareness, consciousness that I am, all the rest are only mithya phenomena, appearing and disappearing, without any inherent reality, any inherent existence in themselves.
So you said that a jnani can know that he's aware of awareness. Is that correct?
Yes, but still, when there is no jnani as an expression of consciousness, infinite impersonal consciousness, this impersonal infinite consciousness awareness cannot say, I am a jnani, cannot say, I am awareness consciousness. There has to be a tool, a medium, which is expressing that.
Okay.
Otherwise, what will express that? Imagine that there is an infinite ocean of awareness consciousness without any boundaries, without any beginning or an ending point, and there are no any beings, any apparent beings. Will awareness, will this huge or vast, unbounded consciousness awareness will say, I am unbounded consciousness awareness? Is that possible? Who will speak or what will speak about that? So we need an apparent individual entity to reflect that truth. And that being, apparent being, of course, may be a jnani, a self-realized one. On the other hand, the jnani, the self-realized one, will not say that I'm somebody who I now became a jnani, a self-realized one. Will say that I was never somebody. I was never bounded. I was never in bondage. I was always and forever in eternity, nitya mukta, eternally enlightened, the only enlightened one, impersonal consciousness awareness. The others, the apparent others, because this appearance will seem to speak very strange, will think about it and they will declare that this appearance or this apparent being or apparent human being should be a jnani, a self-realized one, somebody who got moksha or who became enlightened, an enlightened one. But that will never be the words of a jnani, a real jnani, a real enlightened one.
Can I ask another question on this subject?
Sure.
It's yeah. So the jnani knows that they are awareness.
Knows that he is awareness, consciousness, impersonal one, and that he was never a he. And there is no such thing as individual entities. This is what he will know inside him, in inverted commas.
What is the nature of that knowing? Is it an experience? I'm trying to get, how do you know if you're experiencing this truth? What's the nature of his knowing?
It is infinite bliss. It is infinite freedom, infinite real security, infinite love for everything that appears and disappears. Because you see everything as your own self. And the only way to love in the real sense is when you see that everything is just you and everybody is just you, the same consciousness, the same awareness. Nothing else ever existed apart from you. You, of course, with capital U, with capital Y, as infinite awareness consciousness. Not you as a person, everything is you as a person, but everything and everybody is you with capital Y as infinite, impersonal, absolute consciousness awareness.
So,
but it is not if you mean an experience of something to be known, it is not something which is known as an object, as an objectified experience. It is a profoundly deep understanding that cannot be measured about your true nature. Let's call it like that.
So it's not nothing. You're experiencing bliss, love, impersonally. There's no you as such.
Yes. You are experiencing the side effects of the profound knowing of what you really are. The side effects, let's call them like that, is infinite bliss, infinite security, and infinite love towards the entire universe, all the apparent beings and all the apparent objects. And a lack of any wanting, needing. A total fulfillment or contentment. All these are side effects. But a jnani, an enlightened one, will not say, now I see as an object what I am. Because it is impossible to see that. It doesn't have any attributes. It cannot be an object of observation of any kind.
Yeah.
It's like there is a ray, a sun ray, and while it was in this false belief that I am a ray, it looks and it sees that, oh, I was never a ray. I was always the sun. And all the rays are just myself, just the same light. Or just like a wave which says, oh, I was never a wave. I was always the same water. And everything that I see are not individual waves. It's just myself as water. But this brings infinite, total, and authentic security, lack of fear, lack of hope, lack of wanting, lack of needing, lack of searching for something. Total fulfillment or contentment. These are experiences, but yourself you cannot experience as an object of observation. That's why the Upanishads are declaring the Advaita Vedanta. When you know that, then everything is known. This is what, when you know it, everything else is known. This is consciousness awareness, Brahma, your true self. This is the summary and the nutshell of all the Vedas, all the Upanishads, all of the scriptures, and all that ever appeared and disappeared. There is only consciousness awareness. Nothing else ever existed. All the rest are only appearances. In itself, accommodated by that, revealed by that, illumined by that, in itself, in that.
Okay.
Somebody else? So if there is no other question, maybe Andrew can read a little bit from the transcripts from my guru, Swami Paramarthananda ji.
Joseph has a question.
All right. Yes, go ahead.
Yes. Hello, Satchitananda. Thank you.
Hello. Welcome.
I have a question regarding deep sleep. You mentioned a bit about it. You mentioned that there's a registration of the blankness.
Mm-hmm.
But for me personally, this is not what I experience. I mean, when I wake up in the morning and let's say I slept well,
Yes.
I only feel this because in the morning I feel refreshed in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
It's not because I've remembered something or an experience. So can you say a bit more about that?
Of course. But what was there registering that there was deep sleep without dreams? It is your own self-awareness consciousness. And that's why you can recall in the morning that I had a deep sleep without dreams. And now you have this question that whether I had this experience or not. But you presuppose, or you speak like already you knew that it was blankness, it was a deep sleep without dreams. And now you are asking about this kind of experience.
But I don't experience this. I mean, I just experience me in the waking state, and then I fall asleep, and there are dreams, and then I wake up. I don't experience this blackness.
Before you wake up?
Sorry, I didn't get
Before you wake up, there was not an experience? There is a pause between the dream and the so-called waking up. This pause was registered as well, because you don't stand up or you don't waking up in the middle of a dream. There is always a pause, unless there is a nightmare where there is a sudden waking up due to the suffering of the dream.
So there is a pause. When is there a pause?
There is always a pause in between dreams, or between the dream and the waking up, unless there is a nightmare where the waking can be very abruptly. But still, awareness itself does not go into any pause or any break. Let this body-mind complex ask another way, another question to help. Did you ever had an experience of any kind, of a pause of awareness or of a break of awareness? Did you ever had such an experience?
No.
No. You see? Even
Yes.
if you say, yes, I remember yesterday, or before 30 years, or before 10 years, or before 10 lifetimes, I had a break or a pause in that awareness. Or I had a beginning of awareness, a birth of me awareness. Then Satchitananda, this body-mind complex here, this physical appearance, will ask, and what was aware of this birth of you awareness, or of this break or pause of you awareness? Can you grasp the question?
Yes, yes, it means that there is something witnessing this disappearance of awareness, so there is awareness.
There is so. Because there is no any proof, and nobody can prove by any means that there is such a break or such a pause of awareness, because it is impossible.
Yes.
Because if you say, I had this experience of a break of me awareness or of a pause, then the most logical question is, what was aware of this pause or of this break, which leads to awareness again, correct?
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. Somebody else? So maybe Andrew can read a little bit from the transcript of Swamiji until there is an appearance of a question.
Yeah, we have 5 or 6 minutes before 7.
Yes, let's read and close for tonight.
Let me find my place. I think we'll start chapter 2 in the reading. Morelli's got a question. Turn your sound on, Morelli.
It's a practical question. I would like a guideline, knowing which chapters to be read for the next time. You understand?
Yes, sure. You can read the next 1 or 2 chapters, and as much as possible, the best, because it brings a good preparation.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's officially we're on chapter 9 and 10 next week. This week was
9 and 10. Wow.
officially Jnana yoga and Bhakti yoga. Officially. But 2 chapters is quite a lot in 1 week.
Oh, I'm not so far.
What do you think, Satchitananda?
So it is okay to study the last this 9 and 10 chapters, but if there is no possibility due to any particular duties,
Yes.
then you do your best, and then you just have trust that we will cover all the content in the next sessions. So don't worry. Try to do your best, study as much as you can according to your duties in life. And Satchitananda will cover all the basic topics again and again. So it's not about, I remind you all, to all of you, that it's not about to become a scholar or to learn Sanskrit language, or to be someone who is collecting informations. It's about using this base of Swamiji's transcripts to the path to moksha, self-realization, enlightenment. So everybody is doing his or her best, and all together we will try to clarify all the topics which are important.
Mhm. Anyway, I will stick. Okay, thank you.
So Andrew, can you read a little bit?
Yeah, I've just found my page. So
Sure.
chapter 2 from the reading, scriptures. Today I propose to give you a bird's eye view of our vast scriptural literature, especially the scriptural literature available in Sanskrit language. Our entire scriptural literature is generally called Shastram. In English, we can translate as scripture or scriptural literature. The word Shastram is derived from the root Shah, which has two meanings, one to command and the other to teach. Shas has two meanings, to command and to teach. So Shastram means a literature which commands the human beings in the initial stages and then teaches the human beings in the later stages. And by way of commanding and teaching, the scriptures saves a person from all human problems. And since it teaches, commands, and thus saves the humanity, it is called the Shastram. Shas means to teach, tra means to save. That which saves the humanity from problems by commandment in the initial stages and by enlightenment in the later stages. Sankara compares Shastram to a mother. A mother commands the child initially because the child is not mature enough to understand the significance of the commandment. The mother has to even threaten the child. So, when someone is at a grosser level, the language of commandment and threat is used. But when one has grown up sufficiently, gradually we remove commandments and threats, and they are replaced by teachings, convincing, enlightenment, and elevation. Since our entire scriptural literature does that job, it is called Shastram. And this vast scriptural literature I would like to present in 6 layers. The entire scriptural literature can be presented in 6 layers or 6 groups. The first and foremost is the Vedic literature known as the Vedas in general. The Vedas themselves are a very, very vast literature, consisting of about 20,000 and odd mantras. It is a very vast literature. And the entire Vedic literature is divided into 4 groups, known as the Rig Veda, the Yajur Veda, the Sama Veda, and the Atharvana Veda. Rig Veda consists of Rig mantras, which are in the form of metrical composition, poetic compositions or Padya compositions. Yajur Veda consists of Yajur mantras, which are prose composition, in the form of prose or Gadya or Rupena. Sama Veda consists of Sama mantras, which are in the form of music. Gita Rupa mantra, which are set to music. In fact, they say Indian music is derived from Sama Veda, and that is why the chanting of Sama Veda is called Sama Ganam. We don't say Rig Ganam, Yajur Ganam. The word Ganam is used only for Sama chanting, indicating it is in the form of song. Then comes the 4th, known as Atharvana Veda, which consists of mantras which are mostly given by 2 well-known rishis, Atharva Rishi and Angiras Rishi, and therefore it is known as Atharva Veda or Atharvana Veda. And the word mantra is used only for Vedic composition. And more than 20,000 such Vedic mantras are available. And they are known as mantras because they are meant for inquiry analysis and assimilation. They are meant for mananam. Mananam means your analytical study. And thrayeta means it will protect us if we inquire into that. And according to our tradition, even the mere repetition of the mantra, meditation on the mantra, is capable of helping a person. And the very word Veda indicates a source of knowledge. It is derived from the root vid, to know. Therefore, Veda means a mine of information, a treasure house of knowledge. Is that enough for now?
Sure. Let's close it for tonight. Thank you all for your participation. Please study as much as you can and bring your questions in the next session. Namaste to all.
Namaste. See you next week.